Okay, it's Monday, bank holiday, Easter's just finished, and I just feel like making a video because this is one of the hardest days I've had. I don't know if that I don't know exactly what that means. One of the hardest days I've ever had. I know how fucking stupid that sounds. I played Halo on the Xbox all day. I had about 15 panic attacks. Intense. Really fucking intense panic attacks. About 15 of them. There's been years that I've had 2 or 3 panic attacks. I had 15 today. So it's just a really shit day. But it's important I make this video because what tends to happen with me is I have a bad day or I feel down, and then I wake up the next day or I get involved with something the next day, whether it's something simple like going for dinner with my family or a friend calls down or something, and I forget how I felt the day before. Like I forget how I feel today. And it's absolutely terrible. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. You can't. I went to the shop today to get a cat food and some pasta and stuff, and I met my brother and his girlfriend. And just while I was talking to Richie, I had a panic attack, And I'm lucky it was only Richie because I can kind of mask it, and because his panic attack had nothing to do with Richie. It had nothing to do with Chantel. It had nothing to do with where I was. It was just one of the 15 I had today was when I was talking to him. But if I was in a social situation, or if I was out, or if I was with somebody that didn't know me, he could have fucking killed me. And that person would have sat there and thought, what the fuck's wrong with this person? And I don't know what to say is wrong with me. I was looking on the English website about anxiety. It described panic attacks. You might think that you're going mad. If somebody who never had one, they would, they would probably think they're losing their mind. I'm kind of used to them now, but even I'm not used to ones like today, like the amount of them today. And it's very hard for me to talk about this. It's very hard for me to articulate what it's like, because I don't really know what it's like. But it's not just a panic attack. That simplifies it so much. It makes it sound so, I don't know. I still haven't ever read anyone else's panic attack described where I say that's it. This thing about tight chest, and mine's far worse. I have this strong heat or wave that comes over my mind that doesn't feel human. That feels, and I know how crazy it sounds, and I know how fucked up it makes me look or sound. And it scares the shit out of me. So, but it's like it's demonic or something. But I don't even believe in the devil. I don't even believe in an afterlife. I'm not religious. I guess I'm a bit spiritual, but I don't believe in ghosts or. Not that I don't believe in it. I think it's fucking ludicrous if anyone believes in it this day and age. That's how anti I am it. So it confuses me when I remember when I had them first. I was about 14, and I was religious, and I did actually think it was something from another world. I was only 14. I didn't even take drugs or anything. I was just a normal kid with a happy social life, bit of trauma at home, but you know, I was likable. I was a bit hyperactive, but I was, you know, I was normal, kind of. But I can't have too many more days like today. I just don't know what to do. It's such a terrifying, lonely experience because even though you don't feel lonely, I can't talk to anybody about it. I can't share. You know, if you're an alcoholic, you can talk to another alcoholic, and you know, I just feel very alone with this symptom. I've read about panic attacks. I've read about other people's, and there's a part of it. You know, I don't even feel anything in my chest. There's an alien feeling, something I can't describe properly, and it makes me feel very unusual. It only lasts 30-40 seconds. I don't know what the fuck it is, you know. But anyway, today would make you wanna. It's why I was an addict, you know. It was most certainly why I was an addict for the last 3 years of my drinking and drug taking. Nobody would want to feel like this. Nobody would want it. You drinking and it goes away for the day. The scary, lonely, dark place goes away. And you forget it. I don't know what triggered it. I'll be honest, I had 2 beers last night with a friend. He rang, and it's kind of good weather here at the minute, and you know, he's one of my only good friends, and he needed a lift home, and he was about 30 kilometers away, so I picked him up and he was hammered. And I told him I wanted to go for a beer, and we had 2 Guinness. Right, I had 2 Guinness and he had 2 Bulmers. And that was it. Really, really, really enjoyable. I got home, I didn't have an urge to get hammered, I didn't have an urge. It actually was strange. It was as if I was a normal person for a night. Now, I'm aware of all the outside issues of that's the way it starts, and before you know it, blah, blah, blah. I'm not here to talk about my drink. I'm just here to talk about how I felt today, and whether it's PTSD I have, post-traumatic stress disorder, but it most certainly was not a hangover, not even close to a hangover. Because if there's one thing I know, it's a hangover. But 2 beers and then I have all this 15 panic attacks. Like I've drank in the last 2 months. I've got hammered. Jesus, I've got hammered, and nothing like this. I, it's hard to, when I'm like this, it's very, very, very difficult to take myself out of this feeling, which, you know, is what happens, I think, when people get depressed. And people who don't have depression kind of are like, well, why don't you just get up and go for a walk, get outside, it's sunny. They're good intentioned when they say that, but it's very difficult to, it's pictured like you got a really big punch in the nose, everything just wants to focus on that, your whole, there's the physical swelling of it, I don't know the comparison why I said that, but your whole attention is focused on this. The throbbing pain is probably a better comparison, okay? The throbbing pain, it's extremely difficult to just ignore that. Like you wouldn't picture your friend, you're after getting punched in the nose, and your friend rings you and said, would you like to go for a drive? Would you like to go for a swim? You know what? I will, because it'll stop me thinking about my nose. It's kind of like that, it's very difficult to take your attention away from it because it's so intense. I don't know how I feel. I don't know. And how are you meant to have relationships when you're like this? Hi, I'm Brian. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I'm a nice guy, but I'm also batshit crazy. Someday you're gonna wake up and I'm gonna be in a mood, and you're not gonna have done anything wrong, and I might snap at you because I'm venting. I need to learn how to vent. Maybe I need to go back to my psychoanalyst, like I spoke about in the last video I made a few nights ago. I need to talk about stuff because I am at a point now where I believe I'll be surprised. I'm going to predict what the psychoanalyst is going to say. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I can actually feel a panic attack coming on right now. In the last few years, my panic attacks have produced more saliva, which I think I read about that happens, it's common enough, but that didn't used to happen when I first got them. There was no extra buildup of saliva. I'm sure that's something to do with evolution, or it's got to do with the whole experience of panic attacks. Why they happen is fight or flight, but it's gone away, which is unusual because once they normally start, it's kind of like a burp or a fart or whatever. Once it starts, it kind of comes, but no, that passed, which is unusual. Yeah, so if I was to guess at what the psychoanalyst would say, would be that I have trauma from an early age, that I experienced on numerous occasions, which had a huge effect on me, that I was unaware of, and it led to post-traumatic stress disorder with anxiety, with borderline probably. My guess or my understanding of borderline, which could be very wrong, is that you have very mixed emotions, and I guess that would apply to me, but mainly with me and emotions is I never really ever know how I feel about anything. I only ever know how I feel if it's extremes or anxious. I can recognize anxiety, but I no doubt I suffer from general anxiety. That's a given. But you know, if I go for a meal with my family, or if I call up to my mom's, and if you were to just ring me and say, "How do you feel right now?" I will just draw blanks all day, every day. You know, if I'm in love with someone, it's very intense love. And I happily express that to that person because I feel it, and I'm so happy to feel something that's good. Um, but in my day to day general living, I can't put a name on my emotions ever really, and I think that's tied in with post traumatic stress disorder. I think the trauma that I experienced, which was physical abuse and mental abuse, um, from a young age, what it did is made me terrified of people who, I'm kind of taking a shot in the dark here. Like, it was very intense when episodes when they happened. Um, and there was always one after the other. It was always physical and then mental, and they would last for hours, hours and hours and hours and hours. 6 6 hours, sometimes 3 hours, 4 hours. Anything over 5 minutes is far too long, if you ask me. Um, and you know, I never know, or I will never know, if I would have been different if they didn't happen. And it gives me great sadness when I think the big what ifs, What if that never happened? Because it fucked my life up. It really did fuck my life up. And I wish it was just me that fucked my life up. Sometimes I don't know what the point of living is. Is it just to battle my illnesses? I just want to give up. If that's what it's about, my life is just one struggle about there's a huge drive in people to survive, and of all the people that commit suicide, I'd say there's only a very small fraction who want to die, you know. And it's got such a negative, what's the word? Such a negative, I want to say connotation, but I don't even know what that means. The people that kill themselves, I have to guess, I have to assume, a lot of them are just in so much pain. And I can understand that. I know what it's like. And I'm sure what I have is nothing compared to people out there, but it doesn't make it any easier, you know. One of my biggest worries is that it seems to be getting worse every year. So what's it going to be like in 5 years, you know? What's it gonna? I'm 34 now. What's it gonna be like when I'm 45? I don't even want to think about it. You know, I don't. I had such a brilliant day on today's Monday. On Friday, it was just such a great day. I was working with my mom and another Dermot. We were we were just working outside in the sun. It was a gorgeous day, and we were just trimming the hedges. And it got me out of the house. And Dermot's a really nice guy, and chatting crap with him all day. And that's what I want. Just a simple day, just a simple, nice day. Nothing too exciting, and that put me in such a good form. You have no idea, like. Just a nice contentment, nothing too crazy, nothing too happy, nothing too extreme, just a nice day. I was looking at, I'm still doing my pull up thing where I'm doing 100 pull ups, or I wish I was doing 100 pull ups. I'm doing pull ups for 100 days and posting them online. It's a good motivation to get you to do them. And oh, my mind just went blank. Sorry, I completely forget what I was saying. No, it's gone. It's gone. Anyway, no point pretending everything's hunky dory. I'm just gonna go downstairs and play the Xbox and distract myself from myself, so I don't get too caught up in my emotions. Don't get too caught up in my thoughts, because I've got this thing which has to be very, very unhealthy, but it's a coping mechanism that I use, and I've used it since I was very young. When I go to bed, I have to listen to something. I have to have earphones if there's someone with me, which is awkward, as you can imagine, and makes me come across as odd. I am odd, but the reason I do it is so I don't have to. No, not so I don't have to anything. The reason I do it is because if I don't, I'll lose myself in a world of my thoughts, and not in a positive way. Really messed up, negative, confusing way. I will never know how I got onto this thought, and they're just random, and they just keep coming at me from all over, and it's just like a wave of non-stop shit going through my fucking head, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. So I don't do it. I can't where I am now. I can't go to sleep, and I would probably sit up all night rather than try sleep if I didn't have something to listen to. And there's two things I can get from that. One, that it's very unhealthy, obviously for your sleep pattern, for your brain to shut down and get some proper rest, and obviously that's huge, and I never let that happen to my brain. I just don't. So maybe it's something I have to work on. But the other thing I think that springs to mind about that is that it's a sure sign that I'm not well, and it's a sure sign that I have things I need to work on. Because if I'm still doing that, there's not peace of mind upstairs. Anyway, this has kind of helped me a little bit. It's not a video I'd be happy to show many people. I don't even know if it would help anybody. But I've never kept a journal of when I'm really shit. Maybe I'll show it to my counsellor someday. I don't know. All I know is I hope I'm not like this tomorrow. Alright, that'll do. Thanks.